All right. Hi, hello, and welcome to Unlock Hidden Savings with All Flash Storage Solutions. Today's exciting webinar is sponsored by Pure Storage and produced by Actual Tech Media. My name's Jess Steinbach with Actual Tech Media, and I'm so happy to be your moderator for this conversation because, guys, I love the idea of unlocking hidden savings. You know what? I love unlocking anything. You probably don't know this about me, but I'm an absolute nerd about hidden doorways and secret passageways. I love them, and I am so sad to tell you that I do not have a hidden passageway or secret door behind my bookshelf right now. It's an absolute tragedy. Someday soon, I hope to. But today, our awesome expert presenters are going to help us find that one super secret special book on the shelf that we can pull, and then, the door kind of slowly creaks open and the bookshelf swings away from the wall, and we are in the hidden hallways of savings. Very exciting. So if you currently feel like you are compromising the quality or efficacy of your storage infrastructure in order to reduce costs, stop. And instead, join in this secret passageway conversation with our wonderful guides here with us today from Pure Storage. We have a lot to cover, so I'm going to start with just a few housekeeping points, and then we will get this show on the road. Let's get started by taking a look at the questions section of your webinar console. Now, this is the absolute best place to get involved, to get interactive, to post all the insightful questions, comments, feedback, ideas, thoughts on secret passageways, whatever you've got rolling around in your head. We want to hear from you. I see some wonderful highs and hellos. Hey, Gilbert. Hey, Marteza. Hey, Louise. Hey, Joseph. Oh, we've got a whole crew. All right. Well, all you wonderful humans out there today, as those thoughts, questions, ideas, whatever is popping up for you, make sure that you're posting that in the questions window. Again, keep giving those shout outs and highs. Let us know how your day is going. We definitely want to hear from you as we get started. And you're also going to use that window there if there's any technical issues that come up today. Knock on wood, of course. I do want to remind you that a browser refresh is probably going to clear up anything audio slide related. But if the tech gremlins have really got their claws in you today, no problem. You're going to shoot a message in that questions window, and the Actual Tech Media crew will be there to help you out. All right, the last thing I want to point out on your audience console is the handouts tab. It is absolutely chock full of cool resources and follow-ups to our conversation today. All kinds of awesome takeaways that you are going to want to spend some time with after we wrap. So make sure you visit that handouts tab and grab those before we leave. All right, and it is not just cool content and resources that we have available for you all today. We also have a $250 Amazon gift card that we will be giving away to one lucky winner who is here live and present with us at the webinar. So you do need to meet all of the Actual Tech Media prize terms and conditions, and you also do need to be here. Those are the two big things. The lucky thing, that I'm wishing for all of you. I hope you're all lucky in all your days, all the time. If you're not sure whether you meet the handouts, the terms and conditions, that I can help you with, though. You're going to head over to the handouts tab. You're going to click in. You're going to scroll down, and you will find the full terms and conditions waiting for you right there in that handouts tab. All right, so that's prizes done, and we are going to move things along in our session. Oh, wait, there's a whole other prize. Are you ready for that? Who saw that coming? Big surprise giveaway. We have a $50 Amazon gift card that we will be giving away to a lucky attendee who asks the best question. So we are going to look at all the questions asked after we wrap, which means we'll be going over all the questions after we finish the webinar. And even if your question does not get brought up in our live Q&A, you are still entered to win. So make sure you get all those wonderful questions into our expert presenters. And I can tell you, we're going to be sitting in on a bit of a conversation. They're going to go through, we've got three wonderful presenters I'm going to bring out in just a moment, and they'll go through some really important information, and then we're going to get into your questions. So again, be sure you're getting those questions in because, hey, gold stars and high fives and all the wonderful conversation that we're going to have, but also you are then entered to win this $50 Amazon gift card. So stay tuned for that. Okay, well, I said we had three wonderful speakers here with us today, and as you can see, I was not kidding. Look at this rock star crew we have here with us today. So we will be chatting with Jean-Francois Marie, Senior Systems Engineer, RSE Practitioner at Pure Storage, Chandra Dani, Senior Director, Product Marketing at Pure Storage, and Brian Farrer, Product Marketing Director, also at Pure Storage. Like I said, an absolute rock star crew. Jean-Francois, Chandra, Dani, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know, or excuse me, Brian, Chandra Dani, I need to go get some water. Jean-Francois, Chandra, and Brian, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know that we have a ton of great information ahead of us. We've got some Q&A to get into. We've got all kinds of cool things ahead as we unlock this hidden passageway to cost savings, which I'm sure all of us are very excited to get into. So, Brian, I think you're going to kick us off as we get started here. So why don't you tell us what we're here to get into today and who we're talking to?
We're talking to two experts from Pure Storage about unlocking hidden savings in your storage infrastructure. And today, let me introduce our panelists today. We've got three gurus from Pure Storage. First of all, let me introduce Jean-Francois Marie. Jean-Francois is a senior systems engineer for Pure Storage, and he is based out of Paris, France. Next, we have Chandra Dani. Chandra is a senior director of product and solutions marketing. Chandra works out of our headquarters in Santa Clara, California. And rounding out both the geographical aspects and our speakers today, I'm your host, Brian Farrar, and I'm marketing director of Pure Storage out of Austin, Texas. So we've got a full agenda today talking about unlocking hidden savings, that is, in your storage. And I'm going to throw this first question to Chandra, if that's okay. And the question is, Pure is known as a leader in all-flash storage, and we have a consistent all-flash storage platform. But all-flash has never been considered exactly an inexpensive technology. Aren't we a bit too crazy expensive to find savings in even second-tier data repositories? Chandra, can you give us a little introductory thoughts on how that's even possible?
Definitely, Brian. At Pure Storage, our North Star has been all-flash data center. And with that aspiration in mind, we have been continuously innovating and bringing new products to market. In 2024, we launched FlashBlade E and FlashArray E as part of E family products. With its E family, Pure introduced brand new all-flash products optimized for capacity. The E family is designed to replace mainstream disk-based file and object stores at an acquisition price comparable to disk-based systems. So yes, now with Pure's consistent all-flash storage platform, customers can have instantaneous access to data and files, even for archival data. But Brian, what we are talking about today is how to reduce overall TCO for all data storage, including second-tier data repositories. So with Pure, there are hidden savings in 4 distinct areas: operational savings, energy savings, subscription savings, and savings from improved data access and reduced downtime. So let us talk about each of these.
That's pretty exciting, and it seems like it's a new world order. Costs are coming down, performance is going up, and it sounds like customers don't have to compromise anymore like they used to on storing that secondary data. Well, with that introduction, thank you very much, Chandra. Let's talk about those 4 areas you introduced, starting with operational savings. And I'm going to turn to you, Jean-Francois, and ask you this next question. We talk about seeing savings in organizations' operational cost and how they manage their data growth, both on-prem and in the cloud. Can you talk a little bit about how consolidating that repository data on Pure's all-flash platform can drive that improved TCO that Chandra was talking about, especially when replacing traditional hard drives?
Yes, interesting questions. And there is a lot to say, so I'm going to be trying to shorten the ideas here. And really, to echo what Chandra said, it reminds me what's happened when 10 years ago or so, vendors were trying to replace tapes. And I think we are experiencing a new wave, which is replacing drives, mechanical drives with flash, because all what has been said. I just wanted to add something before getting into the subject. Efficiency and saving start with simplicity. And I think we all have to say that at Pure, there's no licenses. Everything is included. All features are on. And when you do the upgrades, new features will come along. Just to give you examples in terms of savings, we recently introduced new algorithm in terms of compression. You know, we have new type of data coming, and we have to adapt along the way to be more and more efficient. So just do an upgrade, and then you take benefit of what you have. Another thing is, which is quite obvious, moving from drives to flash. We have seen that all features are on. It's not that feature or that feature or that feature. Everything is on by default. Compression, deduplication, and all those mechanisms. We have 20 plus mechanisms running all the time to scan and decrease the footprint of the data. It's automated completely. So nonetheless, the operator has nothing to say, to do, sorry, and it's the gain by default. But there's something else I would love to testimony on. It's really simplicity in action. I remember many projects in the past where, because of flash price and this capacity and low price, customers were trying to put together, and perhaps tapes, right? Like a 3-tier type of approach. They were building that multi-tiering type of approach. Hot data on flash, midterm data on disk, and long-term retention data on tape. And what I've seen, it's so complex to maintain in terms of operations. It's a nightmare to operate, a nightmare to upgrade. And what we have seen so much is that the low-cost tier is so attractive, you know, is when you have a large amount of data available to you. Human by nature hates emptiness, so it's going to feel it. So what I've seen is flash tier, less used, emptiness is there, don't use because it's too expensive. Capacity tier is quite busy, thus the increase in terms of IOS, thus all types of problems in terms of performance, etc. So maintenance was a problem. Keeping the data at the right place was a problem. So thus, for us, it's really interesting because with one tier, you can do it all. With flash, capacity flash, you can store any production data, copy data, whatever, replacing all those multi-tiering type of approach. So I think there are many ways to see operation savings from a performance perspective, but from a maintenance perspective, and also from an architecture perspective.
Thank you, Jean-Francois. That's really interesting. And the simplicity statement, I think, is particularly important for customers to understand, because simplicity is in our DNA in Pure. And I am reminded that our founder, when he originally released the first flash arrays at Pure Storage, insisted that we be able to get the instructions for deploying that on a single business card. And that DNA of simplicity continues today, even when we talk about what most people think is complex, right, Jean-Francois? The hybrid cloud back and forth with your data. And now it's as if you're right there with it, dirt simple. So thank you very much for sharing some of that operational discussion with us. But let's turn now to an exciting topic that I'm actually very proud of the company for, and that is what Pure Storage can do for you in terms of energy savings and reducing the power consumption in your data centers. And I know this is a particularly exciting topic in Europe, but Pure Storage has long been known for our thriftiness, if you will, in power consumption. But now, in this era of mandates, we're finding that with concern about global warming and just simply the cost of running a data center and power-hungry applications like AI, that energy savings is even more important. And I know Shonda, you've worked a lot in the AI space, and you understand the needs for reducing the amount of power and cooling. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit for our audience today about what Pure is doing in that space.
Sure, Brian. This is in fact one of our strengths, something that Pure Storage is uniquely known for. Our solutions, all of them, significantly lower power, cooling, and space requirements by up to 80%, resulting in substantial cost savings for our customers. To give you an example, PNC Bank, they are just one of our customers, and they shared their experience at our industry event Accelerate 2 years ago. They saved 85% on data center density and also in electricity usage, equivalent to $1 million in savings. So to give you some insight how this happens, it is estimated that data storage represents 20% to 25% of data centers' power usage. The vast majority of data in data centers, almost 80%, is stored on magnetic hard disks. So I'll give you two examples here on how we actually help. Pure's all-flash systems generally use between 2 times and 5 times less power than SSD-based systems, and we use between 5 times and 10 times less power than hard disk systems. So simple math then shows that replacing that 80% of hard disk storage in data center with FlashBlade systems can reduce total power a data center consumes by approximately 20%. That same math also shows that both data center space and e-waste would be reduced by similar amounts with reduced labor costs and increased reliability as additional benefits. So it makes you wonder, what is unique in Pure's technology that makes all this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you 2 minutes of insight here. Simply put, it's the combination of our QLC NAND flash media and the maturation of our direct flash technology. Our direct flash modules, DFMs, that you may be aware of, they have 4 to 6 times larger capacity than hard disk drives. They are more than 10 times efficient in terms of power consumption, 10 times more reliable, and have twice the useful life. Pure Storage is already shipping. Go ahead, Brian.
That's those statistics. So those are some pretty aggressive statistics, some pretty bold claims. And, you know, if we talk about 80 to 85% reduction, and I've heard claims that Pure achieves an energy consumption of only 1 watt per terabyte of storage. And of course, we reduce e-waste, we say, by 85%. These are some bold claims, but very important claims for customers to understand. And I know this is an industry built on claims. So at Pure, we don't make claims lightly. And so, Chanda, I'm going to ask you, can you follow up a little bit on how do we guarantee these to customers? How do we get away with making these bold claims?
Definitely. Actually, I'll make an even bolder claim. Before I do that, Pure Storage is already shipping 75 terabyte DFMs today, right? By 2026, we expect to ship 300 terabyte DFMs. So let's go into the details of how this happens. So we know that a storage device's size provides critical leverage to increase infrastructure density, lower energy and floor space consumption, lower carbon dioxide emissions, and e-waste disposal. So the device size matters, we know that. Now today, for multi-petabyte systems that are configured to hit a particular performance and capacity target, Pure needs 80% fewer storage devices. That means our systems require a lot less supporting infrastructure. They need less controllers, less enclosures, less fans, less power supplies, less switches, less cables, and thus less energy and less floor space. And all of this drives down both manufacturing and shipping costs. And this is how our Pure E family, that is capacity optimized systems that are at multi-petabyte scale, they are available to customers at acquisition cost comparable to disk.
That's that idea that we can get to comparable to traditional disk is just an amazing thing. And I remember one story that sticks in my mind about e-waste is I grew up in data centers, and we all have that big cardboard box in the data center of unused cabling. We don't know where it came from. You know, we had these extra cables every time we installed a new rack, and that's e-waste. And one of the things we're doing now is we're making sure we understand the use case the customer is going to deploy and only ship the cables they need. Simple answer. But that just shows that our head is really in this energy savings game. So, but energy savings isn't the only thing I think that Pure is making our name on in terms of reducing the total cost of ownership for our customers. And one of the things we talked about in our recent earnings announcement just a couple of weeks ago is that Pure's growth has in particular been driven by our subscription sales. And an increasingly a large number of our customers are moving to storage as a service with Pure. And I want to ask Jean-Francois if you can talk a little bit about what does a subscription mean to a customer in terms of flexibility and scalability and the advantages of moving to a more OpEx focused model?
Sure, yes. I think just I would love to add something about energy.
Please do.
Because it's similar to subscription. If you engage with someone, it's for a lifetime. It's not just for one shot, 1 year, right? It's like you want to experience a life cycle. And so I am an ESG ambassador, and I'm seeing a lot of projects in Europe, especially in France. We see every single RFP where customers are asking us about our impact in terms of product and energy, etc. Shanda covers something interesting about the products. Now, if we consider a 10-year, 12-year type of life cycle for products, I think one of the big strengths we have, and it's going to be echoed in the subscription, is evergreen. We have, when you get started with a project, you buy some gears, right? And usually what the market says is every 5 years you have to replace them. At Pure, it does not exist. Why? Because evergreen, flat and fair type of price for the maintenance, and we can exchange every single component on the fly without interruption. In terms of impact, let's say you buy an array, you make evolve that array, change the capacity of the component, change the controller on the fly without disruption. It's the same energy footprint, it's the same rack footprint. So across the life cycle of your project and your data, you don't move your data anymore. You don't need to have 2 gears running at the same time to do the migration. So in terms of impact for the life cycle, it's very important, while at Pure, only one array will do the job for your lifetime. That's very important. And that's where we can build subscription on. Because when you go to subscription, obviously, you move from product to services. And this is important because the cloud experience from our customer is about that service or those SLAs, this service type of approach. They don't care about the products. I just want that capacity with that performance, with that uptime. And this is what we are doing at Pure. We make it simple. Because we have all that underlying technologies, because we have all those energy saving, all those operation savings, we have the luxury to install at our customers some assets, manage them for them, and put on the top of that SLAs. Because of all the rest, we can put those SLAs. The most important thing when you embrace the cloud is to have a cloud type of approach in terms of how you're built. So when you go with Pure in terms of subscription, you only pay for what you use, for what you write. If you compare to the cloud vendors, you pay for what you allocate. With Pure, you pay with what every single writes, no more. Second, we mentioned about energy saving. So if you turn on Pure subscription, we pay for your electricity upfront. We give you a check of how much what you have just installed will cost you in terms of electricity for the duration of your contract. It's upfront. It's a pure gain. This is one really big advantage of enabling subscription with Pure. The other thing I want to mention is it seems that we have big discussions at customers. Shall I go to the cloud? Public. When I say cloud, public cloud, right? Shall I go on, stay on-prem? What about having something hybrid? In terms of saving, it's also providing you the choice. Providing you with a choice is, do you prefer having your data on-prem or in the cloud? So with every single performance subscription, we provide our customer a cloud enablement with our product Cloud Block Store. It's our virtual appliance running into AWS or Azure, which means that, okay, let's take an example. I have a project of 100 terabytes. I don't know what's going to be, I have a cloud strategy, but I don't know how much I'm going to put in the cloud or on-prem. So you have the choice to get started with 100 TB on-prem. Across the life of your project, you may say, oh, I'm going to move 25% of that into Azure or AWS. Please do so. With Pure, it's not going to cost you anything. It's the same license. Mm-hmm. And wish you move that 100% into Cloud Block Store, into the cloud, it's the same price. That saving is also, it's also related to providing you with a choice. It's not one or the other. It's both at the same time for the same price. So that's a huge amount of savings.
That makes a lot of sense. And Evergreen is certainly a popular choice for our customers right now. And as you said, in particular in the cloud. And I wanted to ask Chanda a little bit about that, about people on subscriptions with Pure, but still wanting to execute a hybrid cloud or a multi-cloud environment. Can we still deliver as the quality of service and the flexibility and scalability that we can do on-prem in the cloud?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, Brian, yes, we can. But I want to begin with repeating what Jean-Francois just said. Once again, our guideline at Pure Storage is to give customers flexibility and choice to be in the cloud as needed. We want customers to be able to grow effortlessly, migrate effortlessly in the cloud. Therefore, whatever we do on-prem for minimizing downtime, for ensuring a consistent quality of service, we do all of that in the cloud as well. We offer consistent storage services and APIs, same interface, same management, same ability to scale up and down, regardless of the architecture a customer may choose. And like Jean-Francois said, everything that a customer may like about Pure Storage, all the features, all the benefits of Pure that they get on-prem is available in the cloud. And talking about Evergreen, Brian, with Pure One, customers can plan, manage, monitor all of Pure Storage products from anywhere, on-premises, cloud, wherever they may be. The customer can manage it from anywhere. What is important to keep in mind is Pure Storage provides SLAs for different aspects for such as performance, SLAs for capacity, SLA for availability and security, so that customers can avoid unexpected costs. And talking about costs, there is one more thing I want our listeners to remember, that customers can reduce their cloud storage cost when they are using Cloud Block Store. They can save as much as 50% compared to alternate cloud storage solutions. How is this possible? This is possible because data on Pure Cloud Block Store is thin provisioned, deduped, and compressed to an extent that we significantly reduce the data footprint. And with that, we reduce the amount of storage needed, and that in turn reduces the cloud storage cost.
So it almost sounds like we're agnostic about a customer's architecture, right? We can bring the economics of the cloud to the data center, and we can bring all that pure simplicity to the cloud. And most importantly, we're guaranteeing it with SLAs. So customers can now focus on their line of business, not what their IT organization has to do. That's really, I mean, it's industry changing in my opinion. And I know Pure is probably, as we say in the United States, the OG, the original gangsta of storage as a service model. So thank you very much for your thoughts there. I want to turn to one other thing that you talked about, and this has to do with there being, as I say, agnostic on the cloud and no difference whether we're on the cloud or on-prem. But downtime is an issue, and I know, we have more control perhaps in data center than on-prem than in the cloud on downtime. But when I first came to Pure, I was told we were guaranteeing customers 6 nines of availability, and downtime's costly, so that's a really important guarantee. But I come from a world where 6 nines seems almost unattainable. So I remember I asked in the interviews, how's this possible? And I was told, well, this is not a guess. The 6 nines is a real data point that we gather from in real time from our customers' involvement, our customers' environments. It's sent back to us by the operating system, by Pure One. So with that in mind, I know there's a lot of savings there from avoiding downtime, reducing downtime, especially unplanned downtime. And that's probably the last pillar of savings we're going to have time to talk about today. But I wanted to throw this first question to you, Jean-Francois. How does Pure's approach to rapid access of data and reduced time actually translate into financial savings, cost savings, and business efficiency?
Yeah, sure. I think you mentioned something really important when we mentioned downtime or 6 nines. What do we mean at Pure? I think we have, because we are redefining the game, as you said, right? I like the OG analogy, which I was not aware of, and it's also interesting to learn that.
Well, American colloquialism there for you.
So I think it's important to set what is uptime, and for us, when we say 6 nines, it's operation plus upgrades, software and hardware, replacing any part of the array online without impact to production. We do that every single day. I've just finished that at a customer. We move them from M series, for those who recall the M20s, to X20s or 4 without disruption online. That's uptime at Pure. It's everything in operation. So if we refer to operation savings, that's where we play a very interesting game. So coming back to your point, I think I see 2 aspects here in the many projects I see at customers. Surely something is related to fast recovery or fast restore. Spinning drives has been there for a while, and they have been always the bottleneck in terms of performance.
Yes.
They were optimized for streaming, but not for transactions. So when it comes to fast restore, sometimes you have to restore it all. So it's like tapes. When it spins fast, it goes fast. But when you have to recover pieces of databases or email, etc., you need high transactions, and flash and capacity flash is a great answer for that. What we have at Pure are snapshots. The snapshot technologies enable a lot of things, right? Virtual images, consistent virtual images of production, taking very little space, enabling fast recovery for any application or sub-application or pieces of databases. This is one of the key. And many customers are running snapshot in productions. It seems obvious. I've been in this industry a long time, and I recall me speaking about snapshot like 15 years ago. When I see production system at customers, so many of them are still not running snapshot on these drives. It's impossible because it's not running fast enough. Big iron arrays, they don't use that many snapshots because this is not part of the culture. It's like moving from mainframe to open systems to containers. When you move to containers, you want agility, and snapshot is agility in order to recover things fast. And we see a great maturity from our customer using snaps at Pure, because they are completely integrated also with our backup vendors, such as Vim, NetBackup, Commvault, completely integrated. So in terms of operation saving, you don't say, hey, will I use a Pure snapshot? Yeah, of course, it's built in. Don't even ask the question. This is how we operate. Another big area of interest I see here, we have all heard about ransomware. What is happening when there is an attack? And many customers are saying, we know we're going to be attacked one day. We don't know when, but for sure, 100%, we're going to be attacked. Now, the question is, how do we recover from that? So there are many good ideas around the topics, but what are we doing here at Pure? This snapshot approach is interesting, but it guarantees to have an encrypted data, so you can recover from. Now, the question is, why should I use secondary storage, capacity storage for that? It may happen that if a company is attacked, that insurances need to check what has happened on the primary storage. So they're going to lock the storage. So if you don't have a second copy on another storage, which is capacity oriented, what you may experience is your production is down for many years, many hours or many days, until the insurance has double checked the attack. So right. What we can propose to our customer is do safely a consistent copy of your primary data onto secondary gears at Pure, on which you can run production because it's based on Flash. And in case of attack, in case your primary is locked, you can get restarted or nearly a good portion of your production, or at least your most critical application, on that secondary storage. Then you can continue operations. And we see there a big saving, because if operations are stopped for 5 days, so maybe your business is at risk. And usually what we see, if you stop your business because of encrypted data, once 50% of the company are disappearing. If it happens twice, 100% of the companies are disappearing. So it's worth having a double protection on the primary and having the secondary to restart very rapidly.
Thank you, Jean-Francois. That's interesting that you mentioned the culture aspect of that, because you're right. Not everyone has that culture of snapshots, but I remind folks that with Pure Storage, snapshots are both unlimited, so take as many as often as you want, but also they're free. They come with the software. So please, if you're using Pure Storage, turn on the snapshots. Do yourself a favor. It's cheap insurance. So with that, we're kind of at the end of our session today, but I want to go around the room, the virtual room here, and ask each of my guests today to give us one takeaway that you would like our listeners to learn today. And so let me start with Jean-Francois. Why don't you continue and go ahead and tell us what you'd like folks to remember from the webinar?
I guess the one I have in mind is very close to my heart, is about energy saving and TCO analysis. We mentioned during that call all those savings We mentioned TCO analysis, and it seems easy to compare ourselves to old gears to replace spinning drives. It makes sense, right? We have a great story with DFMs, and it's very easy to do a TCO versus old gears. And what is funny is, because I've done many of them for that past years, is to compare us with new gears, even flash arrays from other vendors. So please, my ask here is, we have a very nice TCO tool. This tool is calculating ESG impact for pure gears, scope 2 and scope 3, and compares to what you have or what you expect to have with another vendor. And believe me or not, worth the try. The gains are very impressive. When we speak about 80% gain, it's not marketing. I used to say that because I play a lot with my marketing friends. It's not just sayings, it's reality. I see that every single day. So please engage us, engage the team, do some TCO analysis, because it's not because of the price you buy that you're going to get the best gear for you.
Thank you, Jean-Francois. And thank you for calling marketing a friend of yours. I appreciate it. That you're absolutely right. And I share your passion for the energy savings. I think that's something, as I said earlier, I'm very proud of that the company's doing. Chanda, let me turn to you then and ask, what would you like listeners today to take away from the session?
I would like our customers to remember how they can get both performance and cost savings with Pure for newer use cases such as AI, log analytics, data analytics. To describe a little bit, if we think about AI, the training data sets are reaching really petabyte scale. A customer knows the vast majority of data footprint for a use case like AI is the repository data. If you put it on disk, then think about your experience pulling this data, rehydrating this data, and making it available while your teams are waiting. If you put it on capacity optimized all-flash storage system from Pure, it is instantly accessible. And it is available to you at a cost comparable to disk. So why not use it? The same scenario extends to use cases such as log analytics also. Think about the scenario Jean-Francois was talking about. You keep your security logs for months just to know if there was a firewall malware within your firewalls, right? And you may want to know how back you need to go. So you are keeping all these massive log files. You don't want to put it on expensive storage, but you don't want to put it on disks either, because when you really need to dig through this information, find the real, real problem and find the real date you need to go back to, you need to execute at immense speed. So now for all your cold data, infrequently accessed data, you can put it on capacity optimized all flash solution. The cost is going to be comparable to disk.
Wow. And as we talked about earlier, no compromises needed anymore. That's just great news. And of course, I'm sold, but I do work for Pure Storage, in fairness. And that's sort of my last thought that I want to leave with customers. We've made a lot of aggressive claims here. As Jean-Francois said, these are not marketing claims. These are actually taken from the real world, from customer deployments. But all your vendors are going to make claims like this, or similar claims. And so my thought for our listeners today is do your homework and look at what the analysts are saying. And Pure Storage has been the #1 upper right-hand corner storage position in Gartner's Magic Quadrant, sort of the Bible of the industry, for an impressive 9 consecutive years. Nobody does that, which means the analyst community believes that we walk the talk when it comes to these claims. But even more importantly, look at our customer satisfaction. At Pure, we measure customer sat with perhaps the most difficult and arduous measurement there is in the industry, or in any industry, and that's called the Net Promoter Score. And Pure Storage, for years and years, has enjoyed an industry record Net Promoter Score, which means we have the top customer sat in the industry, not just the storage industry, the IT industry. And that means we walk the talk. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I want to point out the QR code that is on the screen. If you want some more information about what we talked about these different areas of cost savings, use your camera, click on that QR code, and that'll take you to our website where there's more data. So thank you very much, and until next time, happy computing.
Thank you so much, team. And Brian, I've recentered the QR code so it's nice and big on everyone's screen. So anyone out there that missed that QR code, grab that right now. Make sure you've got that, open that up, and also visit the handouts tab if you haven't already done so. But don't go anywhere just yet, because Brian, Shanna, and I are going to get into some of your questions, because you all had so many wonderful questions, and the competition for best question asked is going to be absolutely fierce. Let me tell you. Brian and Shanna, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. So much good insight and information. Are you ready to get into some audience questions?
I think we are. If you can hear me, Chanda.
Yes, we gotcha. Loud and clear. Let's do this. Okay. I actually did want to start. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm consolidating a few audience questions, because we've gotten so many that I'm going to try to summarize some of the high level questions that I think we're getting. And I think what would be a really important thing is to spend a little bit of time digging into where you were talking about e-waste and e-waste reduction. And this clearly hit and resonated with a few people in the audience. So I'm wondering, Brian, if I can ask you to elaborate a little bit more on how you're actually making e-waste reduction possible.
Sure, of course. We actually think this is a gigantic problem. Most countries today are recycling less than 20% of their e-waste. And we've now accumulated over 350 million metric tons of electronic waste on the planet. So we're doing everything we can to reverse that trend and reduce that e-waste. And let me give you 3 examples of the way we do that. One is through subscription services like our Evergreen service. This keeps you relevant and keeps you on the latest kit with extended upgrades as long as you have the system. So we'll non-disruptively, excuse me, not easy to say, we'll non-disruptively upgrade you in chassis with new kit every time we get new controllers and new storage. So that eliminates a lot of e-waste there. We also use direct flash modules and things like our E-family. These are 10 to 20 times more reliable and consequently more long-lived than traditional spinning disks. We also have actual e-waste best practices that we follow, such as consolidating storage into fewer, larger media housed in existing racks that you already have. I mentioned swapping out new controllers in the same physical chassis, and that extends the hardware life cycle. And we try to right size gear so that when we do an SLA, we don't oversupply you. We don't give you equipment that you don't need. And that we also try in that to repurpose used equipment. And then finally, I saw a question come across about recycling. We actually believe in recycling, and this is something I've recently learned from our engineers. We bring back as much of that e-waste, these old systems, as possible, and we reuse them in our QA labs, our test labs, our development labs. We put them to use in sort of second tier operations inside the company. So hopefully that answers your question about what we're doing on e-waste.
I think it more than answered that. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate that. And I'm going to give you another sort of many questions pushed into one sort of question here. I'm giving you nesting dolls of questions, Brian. We got a lot of questions coming in. You know, we started this whole conversation looking at how this is going to enable cost savings. And I think you certainly hit on that and explained a lot of ways. Wondering if we could ask you to explain a little bit more about how Pure's all-flash storage for second-tier data is going to save money, and especially because you really called out the fact that we all have this perception that all-flash solutions are inherently expensive. So can we get you to, I know everyone hates this word, but double click on that a little bit, Brian?
You know, it's funny. I'm reminded of Moore's Law when I first joined the industry on the compute side, that said, you know, compute cycles are doubling every 18 months. Well, footprint of compute is reducing in half every 18 months. Somebody more knowledgeable about Moore's Law out there will correct me, I'm sure, but we've seen a similar technology migration with all-flash storage as well. And what Pure does is we save you money, first of all, by reducing your complexity of operations, making everything simpler. It doesn't matter which storage product you buy from Pure, whether you're buying block storage or unstructured storage, E family, X family, everything has the same interface. So you learn one Pure storage product and you can manage and run them all, saving you a lot of time and effort on the staff side. And we know a lot of our competitors have quite a pell-mell, mixed-matched bag of storage options requiring you to learn different administrative environments for different storage use cases. And we just don't believe in that. The other thing is that we have a real range of pricing depending on the kind of all-flash system you use. And at the cost optimization space for secondary storage, where we know people aren't going to pay the same amount of money for the same kind of high performance production storage you might need for, production application like an ERP system or an AI system. But you want to house that secondary storage nevertheless in an all-flash environment where you can still quickly bring it back into production as needed. And so our new E family does exactly that. It makes all-flash storage more affordable, more appropriate for second-tier usages. The other thing is we talk a lot about hybrid cloud and moving data back and forth, and that can drive complexity, time, and costs into your environment as well. Let's say you have all your IoT data or all your AI data out there on the web and you want to bring it back into the data center. Moving those gigantic data sets in a traditional environment can take a long time. That adds cost to the system. We bring that back instantly because we're still using the same interface, the same all-flash storage, the same back and forth, regardless of whether you're on-prem or in the cloud. So we make it dirt simple. And finally, I want to again mention the subscription savings, because that's a huge way for folks to save money with the all-flash storage that we offer. That subscription will keep you green as long as you have it. That's why we call it evergreen. It is what we call forever storage. So dramatically reducing e-waste there, keeping you always current, keeping you always on the fastest, most efficient kit available at any time. And that reduces your overall TCO. And by the way, we have a TCO calculator where you put your own variables in from your own business, and that will give you sort of a benchmark of the kind of savings that you can expect to see.
Ooh, I like that. That is a great takeaway tool. Guys, I have to tell you, I wish we could keep going because the questions are still coming in just so fast and we cannot keep up with them. And we are going to have to wrap things up. We'll clearly have to have you guys back for a sequel conversation in the near future because you've certainly hit a nerve and got everyone's brains kind of working out there. Before I let you go, I'm going to throw you each a question. And I'm wondering, Shonda, if I can ask you to tell us one of your favorite key unique, what makes you, what you feel makes you stand out, because we did get a couple of questions about that. And then, Brian, I'm going to ask you to bring us home and feel free to chime in on that, but I'm also going to ask you to give everyone a next step and a follow-up to getting started with Pure Storage. So, Shonda, I'll hand things over to you.
Definitely, Jess. What makes Pure Storage stand out is all our storage solutions are all flash. We are all flash from ground up. Pure Storage writes to flash directly. There is no intermediate whatsoever. And because of this unique capability that we have, it gives us the extremely high performance that we are able to deliver. We are able to deliver industry-leading low latencies as well as industry-leading high throughput, depending on what your use case might be. We are also known for our direct flash modules, a very unique architecture that we have where it is very easy to operate and maintain. And the new technologies are always coming in. All you have to do is just insert it back in your arrays. Also known for our unique hardware and software co-design, which makes the whole operation of our storage systems extremely easy. Besides all this, we are known for our non-disruptive migration, our evergreen program, which keeps your arrays latest as time goes by. The hardware and software upgrades are both non-disruptive. So to summarize, it's the unique architecture, it's ease of operations, it is the high performance, it's all the goodness that you may want from a storage system, whatever your use case might be.
Fantastic. That's a home run answer. All right, Brian, you're our grand finale. Bring us on home.
Gosh, that was a home run answer. That's tough to follow, Chanda. Very nicely done. So let me first of all reiterate what I said in the webinar, and that is never take a vendor solely at our word. You need to go out and do your research, talk to customers. We're very confident they will say great things about Pure. Read the analyst reports. You've seen us in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for over 9 years in a row. That's unprecedented, and that speaks volumes to what we deliver. One of the other things I want to raise is the topic of non-disruption. You know, it's more important than ever before that you be always on. And we promise 6 nines of availability. And sometimes we even hit 7 nines of availability. And that sounds incredible, but that's actually reported back to us in real time from our customer sites, from the Pure management software. So that's a real data statistic. And I think that speaks volumes to what we're offering here. Reduced TCO, increased availability, and storage that really moves the needle for your business. To get started and to wrap up, I think a couple of places. There's QR code here that will take you to our website for more information. There's a wonderful white paper from a company called ESG, an analyst firm. And it happens to be on ESG, which is sustainability. And there were a lot of questions today about that in the Q&A here. And that white paper goes into a great deal of depth on how we try to keep the planet greener and how we, more importantly, save you money on your electric bills. So go take a look at that. Take a look at the website. And if it interests you, please reach out to your favorite reseller or your favorite local Pure sales rep, and we will be happy to engage with you, show you that TCO tool, and help you get started with Pure Storage.
Well, another home run answer, Brian. So gold stars to both of you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I really enjoyed chatting with all three of you, and I'm so glad that we got to have you stick around and take some audience questions. I know that we're not hitting them all, so we're going to make sure that all those questions get over to your crew, Brian, so you guys will be able to answer and follow up with everyone. Shauna and Brian, thank you again so much for such an interesting conversation.
Thank you for having us today. Appreciate everybody joining us.
Thank you.
All right. And to everyone out there that asked a question, keep those questions coming in. Keep clicking on those handouts. There are so many great resources and takeaways. There's, in addition to what we were just chatting about with Brian and the QR code that you've got on your screen, you can read about the top 5 reasons to switch to an all-flash data repository. It's an ebook. It's a super cool, fun read. There's a white paper. You can if you click on that first resource there, there's a whole kind of resource center about disk. So you can read a white paper. You can read about the truth and myths around disk. You can also look at a really great article on not compromising. All flash storage reduces costs for all workloads. So I saw a few of you asking, again, we were getting into that. How does this actually work in terms of cost reduction? And this is a great follow-up to that. So there's all kinds of cool takeaways that are going to help you answer some of the questions that are still lingering for you. And again, you will get some answers back to some of those questions as well. So keep them coming in. And I know for those of you counting along at home, you're also saying, this is great, Jess, and we've loved it. And now prize giveaway. And you are right. It is time. We have a $250 Amazon gift card going to a live and lucky human here with us on the webinar. Although, as I always say, I feel like we're all winners today. Holy, what a great conversation we just got to be a part of. All right, so our $250 Amazon gift card is going to Chris Shin from California. Chris Shin from California, congratulations. We will follow up with you after we wrap, Chris. All right, well, with that, on behalf of the Actual Tech Media team, I want to once again thank Pure Storage for making this webinar possible, especially to our incredible speakers here with us today, Brian, Shanda, and Jean-Francois. You have given us so much to think about, and that does really and always bring me around to my biggest high five, which goes to all of you out there in the audience for asking some incredible questions, really digging in and exploring this conversation today. I think we all found some excitement here, some energy, the ideas around this, increasing flexibility and agility, reducing waste, increasing choice, reducing costs. I mean, just all the big wins, right? All the ups to the good things and all the downs to the bad things. This is the arrows going in all the right directions, and that's what we want to see. That's the dream. So thank you very much for coming and being a part of this conversation. I know I have learned a ton from this session. I hope that you all have as well. I cannot wait to see you all on a webinar again soon. And until then, I hope you all have an absolutely beautiful end to your day.